And a headline now that should worry every parent on this planet. Frankly, the whole world. Even if you're not a parent, you must watch this. Babies are full of microplastics. This is the headline. And I know you have many questions. What are microplastics? How do they get inside babies? Why are babies full of them? And what effect does it have? We'll try to answer them one by one. First of all, what are microplastics? They're basically tiny particles of plastic, less than 5 millimeters in size, which means you cannot see them, not with your naked eyes. How are microplastics produced? They break away from bigger pieces of plastic. It's as simple as that. Like bottles, clothes, industrial products. Most things we use are made of plastic and they inevitably produce microplastic. It's all pervasive. Question number 2, how do they get inside babies? Well, simply put, they eat them, they consume them. We are talking about plastic toys, plastic spoons, chewing dummies, even the carpets on your floor. Babies are always busy chewing something or the other. Well, turns out they're ingesting microplastics in the process. What quantities are we talking about? Researchers in New York compared stool samples from infants and adults. Do you know what they found? Infants had 10 to 20 times more microplastics in their stool, 10 to 20 times more. Even newborns have microplastics inside them. How does that happen? Newborns are not playing with toys, they're not chewing carpets. So how do they have microplastics inside them? Apparently, microplastics can be transferred from mother to baby. That's how easily this thing travels. Question number 3, what are the health effects? And this is where things get interesting and tricky. Experts agree that microplastics are a health problem. But to what extent? That they don't know. An average adult usually ingests around 5 grams of microplastic per week. Some of it passes through the system, some of it accumulates within the organs. Research has shown that microplastics can actually pass through cells, which means they can enter the bloodstream. Unfortunately, this is where the research ends. We don't know what happens next. Some studies have been conducted on animals and they have shown inflammation, cell shutdown, metabolic issues. These are all serious side effects. They must be investigated and studied in detail. Until then, here's what you can do. Buy wisely. Every child wants the best of toys, but more toys means more microplastics. Keep that in mind. Also, avoid plastic wrappers and containers wherever possible. Vacuum your floor regularly. Keep an eye on your child's chewing habits. And most importantly, do not prepare hot formula in a plastic bottle. It may sound silly, but it's a strict no. Researchers say plastic bottles could dose babies with 1 billion microplastic particles per year. 1 billion. I know these instructions are difficult to follow, but consider the alternative. Exposing your child to something whose health risks are still unknown. The fact is, you can never get rid of microplastics. They have penetrated every aspect of our lives. What we can hope for, though, is to limit the impact, to use alternatives wherever possible, and to ration consumption until we have more clarity on the health effects. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.